So it's a mango habanero ale.
Let's just try
Mango
habanero.
Magnifico.
This is the definition of the Tap Takeover. We were trying this bullshit any day.
It's
we're gonna tell you. We're gonna tell you if it's drain pour.
It also.
I'm going on the record for saying I was against this.
You know.
Cheers.
Tap Takeover Podcast, episode 31.
Welcome back to the Tap Takeover Podcast, year-end review, and we're having a good time here like everybody else during the holidays, having some beer and reminiscing over the past year, and we just listened to a whole bunch of outtakes that we're going to share with you today, and a lot of things that we thought we were just going to delete, but when we heard them back, it's pretty much a good time here, guys. And I guess, what do you guys think? Your thoughts of the past year and going forward?
Well, it's the season of giving, and we wanted to give a little something, a couple of laughs back to our listeners who have had some fun with us throughout the year. So yeah, this is not very informative stuff today. We're usually very big on getting the information out there, but this one's just a celebration. We're just going to have some laughs. This is some never before heard, never before published kind of stuff. Jim, you take a beating. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, today is all about how much fun we really have recording this podcast. And it's been an amazing year. 2017 has been fantastic. And we've got some lesson learned, as you'll hear throughout this episode. And yeah, Jim doesn't get a whole lot of love. I'm not sure why.
Come on, you did take a beating, though.
Well, Jim gets a lot of self-love. There's a lot of Jim putting himself over, and a lot of us calling him out for that. So
Jim walks into a whole lot of stuff, so
but it's a lot of fun. I think that's the theme of this show is fun.
Well, fun and Jim's childhood.
And Jim's childhood. One of those things people don't give a shit about.
So what do we have to look forward to in this first set of bloopers? Andy, do you remember going to the livery in Michigan on our little Michigan beercation?
The beercation was epic, which you'll learn about Alex's time in line. I believe that's one of the clips.
Yep, yeah, we're definitely going to get into the Mango Magnifico.
Oh. Good Lord. Why did we do that to ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely drank some beers that are not good. We didn't give you those guys.
That's one of those lessons learned.
Yeah, a
lot
of lessons learned.
30 beers in one day.
I think it was closer to 18, but it was still too many. Still too many for that third episode.
But when you're seeing double... Okay.
So yeah, if you want a laugh, go back to our third episode, the Michigan Beercation episode, and that's where a lot of these first clips are out of. Plus, we got some great clips from Half Acre talking with Matt and Kelly all about Jim's favorite beer hugs, and we'll be back to introduce some more clips. But let's take it away.
Mango Magnifico.
So are we in agreement that the 2015 tastes better than 2016? But most likely same recipe. I can't think that they're changing that, but just that year of aging it made all the difference. Can we agree on that?
Yep. Absolutely.
Definitely agree on that. For people here in the Milwaukee area, Wisconsin area too, if you got a little liquor store that's out of the way somewhere, you might have a 15 sitting on the shelf because it's been sitting there for that long. Because not a lot of people around here, we're only a couple states away, and they might not know what Plead the Fifth even is over here.
And they're also a terrible liquor store in rural Wisconsin and don't know what the hell they're doing.
near your house, Jim?
Yeah, near my house. I was really excited because we just moved out here, and it's where I grew up, and it's changed tremendously from the 25 years in between. So I was really excited, and we'll just cut this out. We're cutting
yourself.
You're going to bukkake yourself.
Yeah. Not to put myself over the top.
Yeah.
It's like the bourbon barrel aged beers.
Yeah.
Not everything makes it. You know, some of it goes bad.
To edit that right out.
We don't give a fuck about you or your childhood. Okay, go.
No, we're still recording.
Okay. doesn't mean
we'll throw that in at the end.
All right.
We'll cocky all over yourself. X the music.
All right. Anyways.
All right, this is going off the rails.
All right, we should pause to get, or you're going to introduce the next one.
All right, so Jim, tell us what we have next up on the taps.
If someone from the livery actually listens to this podcast, How many bottles do you have aging in the basement right now?
Yeah, we're gonna tag your bitch ass. Okay.
Fuck you for laying it down in the bottle.
We'll talk about bukkaking ourselves, but do not go bitch ass. Don't cross the line.
We're gonna tag your bitch ass. Are we live?
Oh, are we live yet?
Stop.
Okay, we're gonna take your bitch ass. Okay, we're gonna cut that out.
We're tweaking.
Oh shit. Alex, I don't think this is a true tasting if we don't do the Mango Magnifico.
The trash beer?
It's the Mango Magnifico.
Yeah.
Here's the fun part about
You want the
this.
story behind this?
Yeah, give us the story.
Okay, so the story behind this is after you've been drinking, bottle sharing in line for 6.5, 7 hours.
No, incorrect. 9 hours.
Okay, 9 hours since we started drinking before they opened the gates, right?
We're talking about the Dark Horse event, obviously.
We stood in line. We put in our order forms. Well, Alex had a little bit of problems with putting the order form because it's hard to fill it out after you've been drinking for 7 hours.
I'll tell you what, 9 hours of drinking, have people do
7,
math.
8, 9 hours, whatever.
Have people do math after 9 hours of drinking.
You didn't have to do the math.
That's how math, majors should have to finish their fucking test. Because it is tough. It is tough.
You
You
want
had to
your
write
goddamn
down the
PhD?
number 1 through 4 on what
Anyways.
to order.
Mango Magnifico. Tell the story.
Anyway,
So after Alex tried to do math, and I told him he didn't have to actually do the math.
I think you actually grabbed your order form
yeah.
so I could just copy it.
Just write the 2s and where I wrote my 2s because everything was in 2s.
Okay, Mango Magnifico.
So this beer after 7.5 hours of bottle
9
sharing,
hours.
9 hours. Everybody left their empty bottles of what they shared on the tables at the 4 Elf party at Dark Horse.
Well, yes.
Someone left this
on our
completely
table.
full. So this was like sitting out there with a little post-it note that said "Take me."
Yeah, and
it's from Founders.
And like
Yes.
Alice in Wonderland, I saw Founders, and I was like, "Hey, this got to be pretty good."
Did anyone-
Yeah, I mean, it's Founders.
Somebody brought
Hey,
it
you know
to
what?
the bottle share.
Before
It's
we
got to
try
be
it,
fairly
before we
good.
try it, cheers.
Oh,
It's a mango ale.
So it's a mango habanero ale.
Let's just try it.
Mango
a hint of
Mango
habanero.
Magnifico.
This is the definition of the Tap Takeover. We would have tried this
Yeah.
bullshit any day.
It's
And we're gonna tell you. We're gonna tell you if it's drain pour.
it makes sense because it's a Michigan pour.
I'm going on the record for saying I was against this.
You know, it is interesting that you were mentioning earlier about a brewery changing their beer to a malt beverage rather than try to define it as a specific style.
Sure.
This is what Founders has done with this. As a mango ale, it's a malted beverage with mango and habanero.
Well, I'll tell you what, boys, this will be the last one that we try tonight. So
kinda-
cheers.
I tasted it.
Cheers on the Mango Magnifico.
I'm not in on that cheers.
Ah, wow. It is literally
doing that.
refusing to cheers
And he
the
just
Mango
tapped out.
Magnifico.
Okay.
No, you'll understand once you taste it. It's a hot.
I taste-
It's the best beer I've tasted tonight. No, I'm kidding.
It
It's
makes
actually...
Black Note look like bullshit.
I will not
It's
drink
not
any
great.
more of that.
No, this is
I don't know how it came up to 10% to holy gee willikers.
okay. You know what? We can wrap it up now.
I'll tell you what. So it's interesting because this beer does sell for like $12 for a 22-ounce bottle.
Wow.
And it is Founders, which is why I give them some credence. You know, I say I'm willing to go with you on this adventure that you're going on, Founders, because they've got a track record.
I'm not.
They've got some great beers, but this one's
bad.
not great. It's not great.
Founders, I love a lot of stuff you do, but
Not this one.
just know.
What they have captured is if you've ever had like a dried fruit that's been given a little bit of spice to it, you know, it's kind of a Mexican flavor. That's what they're going for, and they definitely nailed it. So if that's what you like, if you like that sort of flavor, this is your beer.
No.
But at the same time,
That's like saying if somebody really was going for sucking.
You know what this-
big
no, I'm
time,
just saying.
they
I'm just
nailed it.
saying. There are some flavors that work for some folks and don't work for others.
I'll give you a short commercial for this beer, okay? If you ever woken up hungover on a beach with vomit taste in your mouth,
Wow.
Okay. You know what?
Now we're
That's
done.
getting cut. That's
Okay.
getting
We're done.
So I think we're done. So
It's a better format if you guys ask us the questions than if we
So
just...
ask what happened at the party or something.
Yeah, otherwise it sounds like we're just sharing our slideshow.
Yeah, right. Here's where I took a crap in the porta potty. It is a Russian Imperial Coffee Stout that is also... never mind. It's a Russian Imperial Coffee Stout.
That's also...
Featured in this week's episode, which I just said.
No.
Yeah, the beer news is kind of rough this week.
dude, we nailed it when I came over.
I know I had it all typed out. What I was
Yeah,
gonna
you
say.
guys were golden. I was waiting to see that magic.
So disappointing to see it live.
That magic's going.
You never want to see the sausage made, man.
Oh,
Fuck the mouth chop.
And it with, and that has been...
Okay. And that has been...
No, this has been
and this has been Beer News.
extra.
Fucking okay, shut up.
Oh, it was on a hair trigger.
Yeah, alright. Alright, thanks Andy. Another awesome edition of Beer News. Next on the taps, we got Imperial Stout with coffee, aged in bourbon barrels, the other Big Hugs variation. This one is very good.
Is it as good as Mandic?
Very, I don't know what I call easy drinking, or the Miller Light of Stouts, but it's very smooth.
You went there.
Well, no, I'm not.
No,
It's smooth, right?
I want you to say that again because
I'm
I
cutting
don't
that
even
line
want
out.
that some
Yeah.
fucking
Well,
bullshit.
Patreon.
Jesus Christ, Jim. You just call it the Miller Light of Stouts.
You ever want to be invited back to
Holy
Chicago?
shit.
That's not going even on Patreon. That's
It's a good
just
thing this ain't live.
Hey, we gotta get some
Oh,
hot
man.
takes out there, right?
Casey's got to take a lot of Mandic for this interview.
Okay, no, bring it back. We're doing good.
It's just something people have come to expect on rare limited release bombers. And if it's not there, they don't think it's good. It's all in the eye of the beholder. And if they're going to perceive value off of wax on a bottle, I'd be dipping everything in wax.
I think it's an interesting experiment, though.
Especially Mandic.
Like your dick, yeah. Alright, so dick in the wax.
Served up in a box.
Mandic wax.
One of the things we've had is, continuing on with Big Hugs, is cellar built beer. And most of your beers that you brew are meant to be drunk right away. You work really hard to keep your beer as fresh as possible. But can beer hugs be cellared, and are you producing anything else that could be cellared and aged for a while?
By beer hugs, I'm assuming you meant big
hold
hugs.
on.
I think
When that
it-
say
This
big
is
hugs?
everybody's
So you said beer
correcting
hugs.
Jim right now. It's Big Hugs.
Big Hugs?
It's
Big
big hugs,
hugs.
Jim.
What am I saying?
It's a
You
beer.
said beer hugs.
It's a beer. It's a beer that's called Big
I like
Hugs.
beer hugs too. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yes,
We got him.
we got him. Mission accomplished.
This interview.
What's the
Looks like I think this guy needs a beer hug right now.
Big old beer hug.
He needs a beer hug. Okay.
They couldn't say "les trois." I'm just saying.
Okay.
No one. Let's trace.
Jim, start over. I'm sorry, but when we can bury you, we will bury you.
Yeah, I
So-
know. If I screwed up, I walked myself right into that baby.
Oh, this is going in the outtakes file.
This won't see the
That's
light.
alright. I've heard it all. That's not bad.
Can beer? Oh, damn it.
So tell me about this beer hug.
No,
Great beer.
no. Okay,
Bacon.
Great big.
start it. You got it. Wow, what that was a funny blooper reel. Jim, you are unreal. You're too much, man. I love it, and I think they had a lot of fun with it. So,
Well, this was during Jim's humbling period.
no, but it was still a good time. They had fun with it. I hope Jim had fun with it, and we for sure had fun with it. So we're gonna keep it rolling here and continue our tasting and our blooper reel. We're gonna talk about these next two beers here.
Yeah, so we've got a real fun experiment here. So we got our hands on some Yellowbelly, and if you're a beer drinker, if you're a beer connoisseur, you know exactly what we're talking about. We got the Yellowbelly and the Yellowbelly Sundae. So both of these are going to be imperial stouts brewed with peanut and biscuit flavors, but without actually using peanuts or biscuits. Andy, Jim, what are your first impressions of this guy?
This is what's most amazing. I don't know how they produce these beers without actually using peanuts or biscuits. They must have done something with malts, but I'm getting huge nut flavors. Getting a big butter, kind of diacetyl kind of drink from these, but they're fantastic.
Got a lot of nut in your mouth right now.
Got a little nut.
You don't have
some
to
in your
cut
eyes.
This is the blooper reel, so we can just leave it in. We can leave it in. Yeah. Why save it for 2018? They're just giving the people what they want.
This is really fantastic. The regular Yellowbelly is already really good, and you get all those flavors, again, like Jim said, without using the adjuncts. But the Yellowbelly Sundae, Andy, what are you picking up on this thing?
You get the barrel off it, total barrel off of it. It's super nutty. But the regular is I think the regular is actually a little bit better than the barrel aged.
I'm really liking that regular. The nose is way better, and it's just so smooth, which is weird because the Sundae is the barrel aged version, right?
Yes, the Yellowbelly Sundae is the barrel aged.
And I just think the first one's pretty
the
damn.
The barrel actually backs off the peanut flavor on it. I mean, it's a great mix and it tastes delicious. But the regular is just that super peanut in your face is fantastic.
No, we should mention. Besides mentioning nut in the face, we should also mention that these are both 2016 versions. So these have been aged a year. We did the little cellar experiment. I think they're coming off great from the cellar. I'd really be interested to see what these tasted like fresh, but I can't think it's much better. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it would have really been interesting if you could turn back time to when these were fresh, but even today, these are fantastic tasting beers.
Get back in the old DeLorean.
If you could find a way.
Yeah.
If you could find a way. That's what I was thinking too. Anyways, see, this is the stuff we are sharing with you behind the scenes.
This is the
us
stuff
having fun,
us
us having a good
This
time.
is stuff we normally cut out. But it's the blooper reel episode, so we're having fun. We're having some beers.
Oh yeah.
We still want to be a little bit informative on this episode, so we're going to send it to a little bit of beer news, and that's going to be followed by a couple of quick hitters. Jim's been taking a beating. I think it's my turn. I think it's my turn to make some mistakes and take a little beating. And then we've got a little girls' Pint Out. That was a really fun episode with
fantastic
Maggie and Kelly.
Episode.
But yeah, there was some definite bloopers in that one too. So let's hear some beer news and right back after some quick hitters.
That's right.
Welcome to another edition of Beer News. Tomorrow, Thursday, December 21st, Eagle Park has a draft-only release of Mocha Milkshake at their brewery. Eagle Park has been knocking it dead with their special release milkshake beers, so make sure to try and stop by. If you can't make it on Thursday, some more Mocha Milkshake will probably still be on tap Friday when they drop a special release bottle of Mexican Chipotle Stout. They will also be tapping Strawberry Milkshake at 6 p.m. on Friday. Start your holiday with a bang and kill 3 birds with 1 stone at Eagle Park on Friday. Also this Friday, Mobcraft offers 4 varietals of its 2016 Ode to Sati. This Finnish-style ale made with spruce and juniper berries gets tapped at 3 p.m. Bring 2 canned food items and get a 10-ounce pour for free. Friends of the show, Microphone Brewing, has announced a huge collaboration with Sean Burns of More Brewing. This Imperial Oatmeal Rye Stout called Vanilla Noise should be released sometime in January. This pastry stout will be highly sought after, as Sean from More has already taken home Great American Beer Festival Gold and most recently Best Beer at Fobab. Keep a close eye out for exact release date because you're not going to want to miss out on this one. Details for Perennial Sump Week 2018 have been announced. Sump Week will run Wednesday, January 3rd through Sunday, January 7th. Perennial will once again be pre-selling Sump packages as well as hosting individual releases during the week of Sump and its variant, a single origin coffee from Las Lajas in Costa Rica. 1 bottle of the variant will be included in the package as well as in the individual release. However, it will be sold in taproom only. If you can't make it down to St. Louis for a release, you can expect to see Sump, the regular Sump that is, begin to show up in your area liquor stores soon. But make sure you're on it because they will probably only be getting a case. In case you haven't heard, the Tap Takeover Podcast guys have teamed up with Henry and Andrew at Mobcraft for our very own beer. True to our style, this big Imperial Stout will be heavy on the malts and oats and feature coffee and maple syrup additions. Solid on-fail Stout will be available hopefully sometime in February. Make sure you check out the Mobcraft website if you'd like to pre-order what is sure to be a fantastic stout. Stay tuned on details for the release party as well. You can now find Pipeworks in Wisconsin. Pipeworks started to distribute in the Milwaukee area a couple of weeks ago. Be on the lookout for Ninja vs. Unicorn and Lizard King at your local craft beer-centric liquor stores. It's a TTP guarantee that neither of these tasty brews will disappoint. Tickets are now on sale for the Midwinter Brewfest at the Milwaukee Ale House on Sunday, February 18th from noon to 5. This year, the festival will feature over 30 local and national breweries. This cozy festival is limited to only 800 tickets and makes it easy for getting plenty of samples. Also, congrats to 2 Wisconsin breweries that have been invited to pour at 2 big-time beer celebrations. The Exploring Brew Pub will be at Cigar City's Hunapoo Day in Tampa, Florida on March 10th. Also, the Funk Factory Goozeria will be part of the huge Mikkeller Beer Celebration in Copenhagen, Denmark, May 11th through the 12th. And this has been Beer News.
That's right.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for a very special Mobcraft episode. Jesus. It sounds like it went all the way back to your roots in California with Scott Brewing. Can you speak to that a little bit? How did they influence your emphasis on the canning?
Sure. So when I
Scott's in Colorado.
Oh, what is it, California?
Okay. All right, just tee it up again.
All right, I'll take that.
Like, Scott moved?
That's what's good
This
about
is
this
my
kind of
week.
stuff.
California. All right.
Cool.
It's like, sit and spin, motherfuckers. So, sorry. But seriously.
How
But
about
how do you really feel? Well, we've got that and some kombucha. But aside from that, it's all beer in our beer
I
fridge.
think
Yeah.
eventually Capri Sun turns into kombucha.
I feel like they're so good.
Isn't that Mango Magnifico?
I don't know if that's a burn or what. Roasted.
Okay, let's get the train back on the road.
So we only have a couple more questions.
Okay.
We got 2 more questions. Sit and spin indeed, Maggie.
It's really a reason she's become a huge friend of the show. We love Maggie. She is real and uncensored.
And also, she emailed us relentlessly to take that out of the first podcast, but we told her it was definitely going in the blooper reel at the end of the season. So, yeah, we love Girls Pint Out. We love Maggie. And she was a fantastic addition to the podcast because she was able to really give us that female perspective and what women are looking for in the beer industry. I think it's really important to address that on the podcast, and we've had a few opportunities to do so, and we look forward to even more in the next year.
All right, Jim, before we get too far, I want you to talk about this next beer we're having because I know it's one of your favorites, right?
It absolutely is. 3 Floyd's Alpha Claws, an incredibly overhopped porter.
'Tis the season, right?
Yeah,
Alpha Claws.
it's a great porter to start with, and then 3 Floyd's, and then 3 Floyd's.
Or Sigmund Freud's, right?
Tree
Get
fries.
it
Tree
together,
Floyd's.
Chip.
Tree Floyd's. Just hop the crap out of it. It's a really fantastic beer.
Yeah, it's got spice too. I mean, it's all kinds
So
of weird things going on here.
So this is the first year
And they
that I
kinda work.
recall spices in it. I don't ever recall it having spicy, but there's definitely a little Christmas winter thing going on with this.
This is definitely the freshest I've ever had it. Jesus, you just picked this up a week ago, and this is incredibly fresh.
Yeah, no, I agree with Jim. It's weird. It's has the spicy and the hoppy. It's like 2 beers combined. It's just intense. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's good. Huh?
More intense from Cicerone Jesus.
Grazie.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
I can see where this was going, but for me, this is kind of along the lines of the pumpkin beers with that type of spice.
Oh, God.
Seriously, I'm just not a fan.
Wow.
Not a fan. I can see that.
So spice only in a stout. I think that's Andy's MO.
This is just not, it doesn't mix well for me. That doesn't sit right on my palate.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
the great thing about beer, you know. It's everybody has
to each
different
their own.
taste. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to like what they're going to like. And obviously, this is a super popular beer from 3 Floyd's, and I know it is, and I've had it before, and it's just not my thing.
And, that's the fun part about bottle shares. You get to try a little bit of something. We've got a 22-ounce bottle, and if you sat at home and bought that for yourself and you didn't like it, you're screwed. But you bring it to to a bottle share. There's going to be some people that are going to like it, and you're going to get to try some other beers in return. So that's what we really encourage here on the Tap Takeover podcast is sharing beers. You buy the special releases and you share them. You share them with friends. You share them with people who are really going to appreciate them.
It's all about the bottle sharing. It's all about experiencing new beers that you can't get anywhere else, but somebody you know who knows somebody, and someone's able to get Essential Waters special release and bring it on in.
And I think that's a great segue, Jim, into our next section here. Our very last section. We had a lot of fun at the Central Waters episode, guys. One of our biggest episodes. It was a 3-parter, so it was big in amount of tape that we got out of there, and also big in the amount of listeners that we picked up after the Central Waters episode. A lot of people tuned in because a lot of people here in Wisconsin love that brewery. Andy, talk about these guys. Tell us what you thought about the Central Waters, fellas.
We had just such an amazing time with Anello and Simon. It was from the moment we sat down. It was, it's a blooper episode. We busted each other's balls the entire 3.5, 4 hours of interview and drinking we did there.
Well, mostly Jim's, but yeah.
Well, and I loaded myself up, but I was super late to the interview, like the most important interview of the podcast, and here I am coming in way late, and the interview's already started.
Oh, they let you know about that.
A couple times.
It was really crazy. I mean, Simon was, I love Simon, and what he did to become in the position he is today, kudos to him. But having Simon and Anello together with a couple beers on a Friday night, I don't think we could have planned it better.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun stretch. These are our last bloopers, but they are some fun ones. Andy, we find out a little bit about how you get your beer news. Jim, we found out how little you know about Exodus, except for the Jewish one in the Bible, apparently.
I thought it was all about circumcision.
It's not.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jesus, some definite trouble bringing it back or sending it to...
It's not easy. It's not.
There's a lot of hard work.
People are going to see how the sausage gets
everybody.
made, or hear how the sausage gets made, and it's not pretty.
We drink for you people.
Trying to send things to a break can it be difficult on its own, and when you have Anello in the room, it becomes even more difficult. And then finally, we're going to find out the secret recipe to Ardea and Cygnus. We're going to find out that very specific ingredient.
It's super special, and you got to listen.
Delicious.
Some might say too delicious, but yeah. So this is going to be a really fun stretch, and we'll be back to finish up the episode right after.
And thank you again for another on-point and informative beer news, Andy. Thank you. I don't know how the hell you do it, man, every time.
Google.
So...
I thought you used Bing.
He looks like a Bing man. Anello, so I got to claim some ignorance here. What is Exodus?
I thought you were the Tap Takeover Podcast. Did you do your homework?
No,
coming here
not for
blind.
this one. I just kind of
like, let's go drink beers and talk to some dudes.
I heard you had Black Gold.
Jim, did you get here 10 minutes late?
Yeah, it's almost like I just showed up.
It's a late guy.
So the rest of us know exactly what Exodus is, but for Jim's benefit.
Yeah,
you're
for my benefit.
Such full of shit. All right.
For his edification.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big words. Big words out of Jesus. Oh, sorry. He said fuck off. Simon, you're up. That's a Simon question. Answer it. I think it's fair to answer. Well, all right. Well, yeah, I think it's fair to answer.
We're right. Yeah. We're pouring concrete.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, we're pouring concrete, so it's fair to answer. You want me to answer it, or are you good? And so we're not in control of that. We get stuff like the barrels come in, and it could be from anybody. It could be Heaven Hill, Jim Beam, not a lot of Jim Beam, but Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey.
Heaven Hill.
Yeah, I said Heaven Hill first. I know you just got here, but
Oh, sorry. I just showed up.
Oh, burn.
sorry, Jim.
It takes
The window was wide. Dude, you opened a window, and I'm a jumper, man. I'm a jumper.
That's Jim. He tosses up softballs, and you can either fondle him or smack him out of the park.
Cabbage.
Lots of cabbage.
Lots of cabbage.
All
All right, I think this is a good time to take a little break, and we're going to come back with a quick little. It's a good time to take a little break, and we'll see what they got.
Sorry, I'm supposed to. I was your third try.
Settle down, class.
So that'll be a big to-do, and then.
Why are you giving them everything?
Because this is the best podcast.
The production calendar is going to get printed to people in a month, so it'll be fun.
No,
A quarter of them showed up late.
That's true. 25% of this podcast was late.
Anello knows nobody listens to this stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not worried about it.
For the 3 listeners,
I can say anything I want.
That's true. All right, so Jim,
wanna
you
come
leave,
out?
then they can give us the info. He'll be at Seabowl for his master's program.
Seabowl again.
If I'm not here in 5 years, try digging me up in the back because I might be in a bad caustic.
dogs.
What's in that burn barrel that's been aging for 10 years?
No, that's special.
Caustic leaking from the burn barrel?
That's Skinny Elvis.
The Artie and Cygnus is people. It's people.
What is Artie and Cygnus Latin for? I think it's people? Wait, oh my...
But it tastes so good.
What's it trading for on Beer Black Book?
Oh, Jesus.
So the train's off the rails.
Oh, it's so off the rails.
Oh, dude, it was off the rails 10 minutes in. Come on.
As soon as Jim showed up, it went right off the rails.
No, it was prior to you showing up.
It's your fault.
10 minutes in? Okay.
You just gave it a shoulder nudge off.
Holy shit. Artie and Cygnus is people.
Who would have thought?
That's why it's so good. Wow. Okay.
I'll still drink it.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop drinking it. Yeah. So, yeah, what a fun time with Central Waters. What a fun time with all these breweries that we were able to hang out with this year. 2017 has been a fantastic year for us. I hope it's been a fantastic year for you guys listening. You know, let's take it back full circle in this episode, back to the Michigan Beercation. And Andy, why don't you tell us what we're drinking here?
So we actually went on the Michigan Beercation. This is what we went for. The Bourbon Barrel Plead the 5th 2016 edition.
Still fantastic. Still delicious. Still all those chocolatey, bourbony notes. So this has been a year in your cellar. You put like a whole case down there, didn't you?
We bought, I did. You did too. I think I put 2 cases down there. That was the limit that you
Jesus
could buy.
Lord, really?
You did too.
I put 1 case down. I drank the other one.
I'm working on the second one drinking.
And thank you for that.
The mouthfeel is actually improved, I think, from where it was at the beginning.
Yeah, you're getting those definite dark fruit, dark berry kind of flavors going on after a year. And this is aged really well. Yeah, your cellar is a fantastic place for beer, Andy.
From where you go from the original, it's up to where the original is with mouthfeel and thickness of the beer and just overall taste. And the Bourbon Barrel is just lending itself like over the top to make it even better.
Yeah, the barrel's a star here. Honestly, it's really smooth. It's
absolutely a ton of vanilla, great, and it's smoothed down from the past year. It's drinking fantastic right now.
Jim, do you notice any dissipation in the carbon? It seems to have a nice head on it.
It still does, though it is a little less carb, and that happens every time you age a beer. You're going to expect the carbonation to decrease a little bit. There's always CO2 escaping out to the atmosphere, so still a great Belgian lacy head, though it is a high ABV beer, so it doesn't last long.
It's the Miller Light of Stouts.
Miller Light of Barrel Aged Stouts.
It's the Miller Light of Barrel Aged Stouts.
Wow. I'm not saying that, but if you were to say that,
it would make sense if I said it.
You know, to quote a great beer man named Jim Anderson, it's the beer, it's the Miller Light of Stouts.
This is a 12-ounce beer bottle that we have here, and it's not going to age.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. All right, stop. We'll cut this out.
No, stop.
We'll edit this right out.
Or keep it in.
So, like I said earlier,
Blooper reel.
Okay. I want everybody just to understand we're having a great time. I hope everybody is having a great time, and that's how we want to end this year.
Yeah,
just having a great time, have great beers. The beers aren't great on their own; they're great with friends.
Yeah, share.
And
your
I'm
beers.
glad we are sharing it here tonight.
Share your beers. Call us up. Share them with us. And and even if you don't want to share your beers with us, drop us a line at taptakeoverpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear what you want to hear in 2018. We want you to challenge us. If there's a beer you want to drink that you haven't heard on the podcast yet, let us know. We'll track it down. If there's a brewery that you want to hear from next year that you have not heard from yet, let us know. We will track them down. We're going after next year. We're planning on expanding our repertoire. We're going to do. Let's talk about some of the stuff we have in store for next year. We've got a cellar tasting with Russ Klisch from Lakefront Brewery, bringing it full circle. Andy, tell us about Goose Island. What do we have from those guys?
So we're going to open up 2018 with Goose Island.
Nothing more to say to that.
Nothing more. It's not just Goose Island. It's Goose Island Barrel Warehouse.
Got the invite to come down there and visit with some folks from Goose Island, Innovation Brewers and Cellarman, people from the brew house as well. And we're going to be sitting down, we're going to be tasting the entire 2017 line of the Bourbon County Stout. Then we're going to take it back and out of the episode and bring you some tastings of the entire 2016 line as well.
We're going to have a lot of extra beers on top of that. It's going to be a really fun one. And then sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, guys, in 2018. So here's to it. Here's to 2018. Cheers.
2018 is going to be a great year.
All right, cheers.
All right. So tune in for season 2, and we are out of beer for this year. But tune in to 2018, and we're going to have some more amazing beer for you. We're going to have some more amazing breweries and a lot of new segments. Can't say any more than that, right, guys? So for me, for Alex,
For Jesus.
For Andy,
I'm Jim.
and thank you again for the Gleasons for our theme music. And this has been a solid non-fail production.
Cheers.
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 He said there's no more beer.